Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about Lego's response to JK Rowling. Recently, they published a statement. We're going to talk about all the issues involved with that. Um, this is not going to be an easy video. It certainly was not an easy video for me to make. I've been trying to do this for the last week and a half, and it's not getting any prettier. Um, so please bear with me. But I hope that you will find something that you can really take away and find some wisdom in this, because this is a serious issue and we in the LEGO community need to address it. Now, on October 16th, the LEGO Group issued a statement regarding their business relationship with JK Rowling. We all know she's the author of the Harry Potter series, and most people know that over the last year she's been making headlines for her unapologetically ignorant views regarding transgender people. Um, So her transphobia is a problem, and it's a problem on the level of racism. And what I mean by that, I don't mean to compare the severity of those two, but racism, the definition of racism includes a systemic component. It can be redlining, it can be closing all the DMVs in minority counties so that people don't have access to get the IDs they need to vote. Um, it can things like that. Um, so just like racism, transphobia or transism, however you want to call it, um, has real world consequences in a systemic fashion. It's social workers being able to deny transgender people services. It's people altering gender discrimination laws to define sex in such a way that it excludes transgender people. So this is the kind of ignorance and the hate that we are fighting against. Um, so with that said, dealing with hate speech presents a dilemma. You can't deny, you want to know what people say. This is important uh, to, to be public about this because this is a reality that's happening in our community. But at the same time, it's tough to educate people about misinformation if you post the actual misinformation. So even if you take it and you sandwich it with the truth, before and after, part of that misinformation remains in your mind, and that's a bad thing. So I'm not going to quote any of her statements directly. And now you may be saying, why should you believe anything I say about her views if you won't tell us what she said? And that's a good question. But I think I found a way to illustrate my point without putting her hateful statements in your mind directly. So here we go. First, this is a list of the 33 transgender and gender fluid people who have been killed in the United States just this year alone. I apologize in advance if I butcher any of these names, but here we go. Dustin Parker, Neluisa Luciano Ruiz, Yampi Mendez Arocho, Monica Diamond, Lexi, Joanna Metzger, Penelope Diaz Ramirez, Serena Angelique Velazquez Ramos, Leila Pelez Sanchez, Nina Pop, Ellie J. O'Regan, Jane Thompson, Tony McDade, Celia Reyes Hernandez, Dominique Remy Fells, Rhea Milton, Brian Egypt Powers, Brayla Stone, Mercy Mack, Shockey Peters, Bree Black, Summer Taylor, Marilyn Cesares, Keisha D. Hardy, Dior H. Ova, who also went by Tiffany Harris, Aha Raquel Roan Spears, who sometimes used the name Rocky Roan, Key Sam, Arian Burnett, Mia Green, Michelle Ramos Vargas, Felicia Harris, Brooklyn DeShuna, Sarah Blackwood. That's 33 people so far this year, just in the United States. Sarah's murder was was especially tragic because it happened on October 11th, which is National Coming Out Day. Again, this is just in the U.S. Worldwide, in the UK, elsewhere, I could not find data for that. But I am sure it is just as big an issue over there as it is for here. So with that in mind, I went back over JK Rowling's Twitter feed between the 1st of June and now, about 5 months. So in that time, in just that 5-month time period, she has denied the reality of transgender people twice. She has said flat out, transgender people are not real. She's posted or retweeted misinformation or fear-mongering myths 9 times. She has posted 6 times about how she is the real victim in all this, because of the obvious backlash from, people that care about human rights. That's 17 posts reinforcing her anti-trans stance. She's posted about Black Lives Matter, about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. She's posted about the coronavirus and the importance of masks. But not once has she posted support for any of the transgender murder victims or their families, here, in the UK, anywhere. This contrast is what hate looks like. This is what discrimination, transism, that's what it looks like. So with that context, let me pull up the statement that Lego has written here. Bear with me one moment. First of all, this statement was posted on a Friday, which, if you know anything about news, you know that Friday is a day where people post embarrassing news stories that they don't want people to pay attention to. And they do this because, everyone's looking forward to the weekend. Nobody's paying attention to the news. That's why they do it. Okay, so here we go. This statement is from brickfanatics.com. This is actually a terrible article. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But what's important is the date here, the 16th, which is the Friday. The headline is misleading. They don't disavow her views, as we'll see. And this article leaves out the second paragraph, which is the most relevant. So we're going to click over here to brickfan.com. Also kind of a misleading headline, but here we go. Here's the statement. There is no place for discrimination in our society. Our mission is to inspire the builders of tomorrow, and that includes inspiring them to be empathetic, kind, and inclusive, both through our products and our Learning Through Play programs. None of these words mean anything. We all, there's people who are like, hey, I'm not racist, but this first paragraph is the I'm not racist part. It continues. Our partnership to create Wizarding World sets is with Warner Brothers, not JK Rowling. Warner Brothers receives the royalty fees from the sales of Lego Harry Potter sets. You will need to contact Warner Brothers directly to ask them how they distribute these funds. Lego, seriously, are you goddamn kidding me? Do you honestly think that just because you don't hand the money directly to JK Rowling, that makes it okay? Do you think she lets Warner Brothers just license her characters for free? Of course not. That's ridiculous. This statement is bullshit. Deserves to be condemned in the strongest possible terms, because they don't care that they're directly funding hate speech. Their priority here is to protect their reputation. They're trying to distance themselves from her. And I cannot imagine a more cowardly way to address this controversy. Imagine instead the magnitude of the statement had they said, you know what, this is wrong. we're ending the Harry Potter line. Imagine the message that would send to vulnerable transgender people worldwide. That would be huge. That would be major news. It would be a cause for hope in a year when people are desperately looking for that. And like I can't overstate like the impact that that statement would make. But instead, they decided to release a cowardly statement that they hoped that nobody would notice, and they're just going to go continue on as usual. Anyway, moving on with this. Sorry, I lost my place for a second. All right, their statement continues. Since diversity and inclusion are a focus for us, we also work with nonprofit organizations that support LGBTQ plus children. In Connecticut, we have donated to True Colors, a nonprofit organization that works with social service agencies, schools, organizations, and within communities to ensure that the needs of sexual and gender minority youth are both recognized and competently met. In the UK, we are also working with Diversity Role Models, an organization that helps to educate all children about the importance of inclusion and empathy for all, and Albert Kennedy Trust, an organization that provides housing and support for LGBTQ youth. Um, none of those, sorry, none of those last two paragraphs mean anything. It's just filler nonsense. It's I can't be transphobic. I did a good thing for trans people once. Um, I'm friends with trans organizations. That doesn't cut it. That's not something that we should accept. So now I did reach out to these organizations because I was curious about um, what sort of support Lego had provided, when they had provided it, what kind of programs that maybe they're planning for the future. And none of them got back to me because, I am a random person on the internet. And when someone emails you saying, hey, give me all your information on this program, I'm sure they just ignored it. I'm sure they're very busy. They're lovely people. Do not at them. If they do get back to me, I will post an update. So moving on. So now we have the context, we have the story. So now, what actions do we take? Fortunately, for us, it is the easiest thing in the world to do as Afols. Stop buying Lego Harry Potter products. Just don't buy anymore. Stop funding hate and violence against transgender people. You can mock, you can bricklink like I did with my buddy Hedwig here. Um, yeah, she looks fly as hell. I got this all on Bricklink and I got to support some small businesses, and she doesn't have to be that boring black and white color. So you can, maybe if this is important to you, you can tell your friends, you can make a post, you can sign my petition. If you get a gift, just, maybe use your gift receipt or just say thank you, but next time, hidden side for now. Um, if it helps people to think about this, think about it not in terms of, oh, you're supporting hate, so you're a bad person. Don't think about it that way. Think about you're doing it incorrectly. You know, if you're out in your backyard chopping down a tree and you're using a rake, I'll say, hey, no, you're doing it. You're not a bad lumberjack. You're just doing it incorrectly. Here's an axe. Um, Most of the AFOLs I know are decent people. You're trying to do the right thing. So when you buy Harry Potter products, that doesn't make you a bad person. It's just you're doing it incorrectly. Let's do this instead. Let's make a mock. The one thing that we cannot do is ignore this. And here I'm not talking about having a moral imperative to ignore other people that are suffering. Um, what I mean is that this issue is not going to go away. JK is who she is. She believes what she believes. She has fully committed to it. She is not going to stop spreading just ignorance and hate. So here I am speaking to the Lego group directly when I say that there will come a day where the backlash will outweigh your greed. How much suffering you're willing to tolerate in the meantime is up to you. Um, and that is where we are right now. And it's sad, but it is not always going to be this way. So I will post an update when Lego releases another statement. Thank you for listening to me. Um, if you have any questions, my DMs are open, or post them in the comments. Um, until next time, take care of each other and keep bricking that chicken. Good night.